so here I should use I, but this is not the regulation. This is not the rule that they learned. And students and teachers like to give students rules, but the rules are usually not correct. And so a lot of times students learn English from rules, memorizing rules. We would like them to learn, we would like teachers to tell students what the language, what message the language sent, what it means. But unfortunately, the textbook is written based on structure, based on grammar, so teachers would focus on grammar. Okay? We hope that you can sort of bring some influence, discuss with teachers, and tell them what you think when this sentence is used, so that they will see your point and they will be able to develop their intuition and send this intuition to the students. Right? It's very important because in the new curriculum we talk about discourse level. Discourse level means, like that article about London, what does it make you feel? It made me feel like you don't like your teacher, you don't like this assignment, you don't like this lesson about online trip to London. But how can I tell students that? It's not in the word level, it's in the whole context. We have to share with students these feelings about the language sent you. Alright, we're going to move on to the new curriculum. So I have a lot of time left. We can save time for discussion. Alright, the new curriculum is competency-based. The old curriculum is ability-based. Ability, you can introduce yourself to people, you can introduce your culture, you can introduce this and that and that, so your ability is speaking. Here it's competency-based. What is competency? Competency includes knowledge, your action, and your communication and interaction, and your participation. Now, competency includes knowledge, skills, and attitude. So attitude is very important. You have the knowledge, you have the skills, you also need to like this knowledge and skill and can use it and would like to share with other people. That's attitude. That's the most important thing. In the past, we emphasized a lot on knowledge and skill. Knowledge in English language grammar. You know what is third person singular, you put an S. That's your knowledge. The skill is you can talk to people, you can communicate. You have the skill in speaking, reading, and writing. But do you like it? Are you willing to communicate with people? Are you willing to help people when you see someone getting lost on the street, taking a map? Are you willing to go and say, may I help you? Can you offer the help? That's attitude. Are you willing to do extra assignment? Are you willing to find out something? Are you curious about what your teacher talked about in class and go home and share with other people and find out? We have to get students to have attitude. There was a large-scale study, PISA and Pearl. Are you familiar with that? It's an international assessment. Pearl is for grade 4 students. PISA is for 15-year-old students. It's basically developed in Europe. They look at reading proficiency of students of that age. They also have a survey to find out whether they like reading, what kind of reading they do, how much time they spend on reading. The finding was students in Taiwan can do a good job, above average, maybe top 10 in reading test, but they don't like reading. They don't like to read. Their attitude is not there. So this new curriculum emphasizes attitude. Okay, that's why I started with saying motivation. We hope that you will give students the right reason, the right attitude for learning English. Alright, this new curriculum also talks about spontaneity. That means students would take the initiative. They can be autonomous learners. They can do things out of their own, not being forced by the parents or teachers. Communication and interaction, they need to have the skills to communicate and interact with other people. Social participation, this is very high I wouldn't say high sounding. It's a goal that's aimed very high, but that doesn't mean it cannot be achieved. We've seen a lot of teachers doing wonderful projects to promote this. Okay? And this is the famous wheel that 12-year basic education focuses on. Lifelong learning is the goal. Everything should be surrounded around real-life scenario. That's what I said when you give a homework assignment, make sure that it's related to real-life scenario. And so spontaneity, we hope students can are interested in self-advancement. They can do logical thinking, problem solving. They can plan and adapt. They can give them a project so they can plan it and carry it out and reflect on it and make revisions. That's spontaneity. Communication and interaction, of course, for language, this is very important. Semiotic expression means being able to use different modes like visuals, pictures, and language to communicate with people. Information and technology literacy and media literacy. We want students to be able to use technology, multimedia, and teachers have to incorporate that in class so that you give students idea in your assignment, require them to use technology. Artistic appreciation and aesthetic literacy. You want them to appreciate the beauty of the English language. They know songs and they can learn the beauty of the lyric or the melody. And if you teach a poem, they don't just learn the words, they know why this poem is beautiful, they know the rhythm, they know the language, they know the image, etc. So appreciate the language. And I would say appreciate the artwork in the textbook. Sometimes the textbook illustrations are meaningless. Now we can be critical and ask or expect publishers to put in something that matches the content and beautiful, right? Rather than just some paint illustrations there. Social participation, moral, interpersonal relationship and teamwork. So we encourage students to do teamwork. Cultural and global understanding. That's what the section chief was saying. Understanding different culture, respect different culture, and you are the best example because you bring in a different culture to the classroom and you can tell students things are done differently. Classroom decorations are different and classroom rules can be different. So you respect students' culture, students respect your culture. They need to learn that we're different, but we should respect the differences. Right, so this is the goal. Curriculum features. There are two parts of the curriculum. One is Ministry of Education student-related curriculum required by Ministry of Education, 29 periods per week, school-based, up to 6 periods per week. So this is the place where teachers can create their own curriculum, schools can create their own curriculum. And English teachers have been working on a few cross-disciplinary, cross-subject, or theme-based or inquiry-based activities. Like Lena and I and Ben, we were collaborating with a science professor at my university to organize science camp to elementary and junior high school students. In the 5-day science camp, we set 1 day for English. And the teachers, we went to chemistry lab to learn the science experiment that the student will be introduced to. We turn some of the experiment into English and help students describe the procedures of doing the experiment. And they practice that through a lot of language-related activities. They learn the words, they know the pictures of these names, and they can put these words together to say, we do this first, and that. In the end, we'll get that. That's scientific method, very clear procedures. Right? So it's possible, and we'll try to help English teachers see the possibility of that. Here's another example that we just learned in the CLIO project. Philip will talk about CLIO. CLIO means Content and Language Integrated. This is a lesson on single float. Traditionally, English teachers will teach sink, S-I-N-K, sink, and then memorize the word, write it a few times. Float, F-L-O-A-T, and floated, and write it in Chinese and English, and memorize the word. But the concept is not there. The concept is only transmitted through Chinese. But in doing this, you can get students to think, these are the words they have learned. So they can think about, what do you think? Will a ball sink? Will a ball float? So they can check. I think a ball will float. I think a key will sink. And then they can actually do the experiment. The ball floated. A key sank. So they know the concept, not from learning vocabulary. They know the concept. And there are lots of YouTube materials to help you get the idea without going through the first language. This is a more difficult version.
Fourth graders around the state do this whole unit on nutrition. It seems to be third or fourth grade who do this nutrition thing. So I'd love to pull this out for that one because sometimes you don't really even know what you're drinking. You know.
Perhaps. And then there's a few kids that don't love soda. They will try and beg and negotiate.
Everything. Absolutely. So this is kind of fun. Just a tank of water. All right. And notice all of our cans of soda just had a nice variety of Coke and Diet Coke,
right.
Pepsi, and Big K, whatever. None of them have been opened. Right? So they're all cans. Right?
Okay.
So question for you. If I take the can of soda, unopened, float or sink?
Sink.
Why?
See,
I
don't know because there's still stuff in it.
Okay, there's stuff in it. Good.
Right, there's still.
Okay, good. Right, nice. How about Big K? Float or sink?
I'm gonna say sink.
Yeah, very good.
Okay.
Now, did you have parents that used to throw the can into the swimming pool and then you had to dive down?
Oh, that's part of the big swimming. Yeah. Are you kidding? That's fun.
So now, Diet Coke is exactly the same. 355 milliliters, 355 milliliters. For sink.
Sink.
Absolutely. So that one will sink as well. And then if we try the Diet Coke, there's an air bubble. That's what it is. There's an air bubble inside. Oh my gosh. We just say, Kim, out of all these here, which one's going to float, which one's going to sink? There's a Diet Pepsi, there's a sparkling water, and a grape. Which one's going to float?
Well, then I'm going with the Diet.
Let's go for it.
Let's try it.
That's just, how amazing is that? Isn't that kind of fun? Now, there's not air bubbles underneath there. It really is floating. And so the general rule here is that everything that's diet will float, everything that's regular will sink. So,
Okay. Well, that's for teacher's version. That's more sophisticated version because you need to find out the difference between Diet Coke and Coke. Here is a version for elementary school kids. You can find lots of different YouTubes. And kids will see from the picture that it's float or it's sink. How come this is the same thing? It's the same thing.
all right. So, fourth graders around the state do this whole
The link is different. Really, it's the same thing. I don't know what happened. But, maybe something like this. You see there a lot.
because you haven't seen the ones that are sunk.
Well, that's because they all float, Glenn.
Okay, fine. But me and Bill down for the stick floats.
Okay, here we go. And it floats. Good job, you two.
Yay!
Next, let's try the nugget spoon. What do you think? Will it sink or float?
Well, I've never seen a spoon float.
Me neither.
What?
Quack, quack, quack. We think it'll sink. Okay, let's see. It sinks.
Yeah, we're the smartest ducks in the world.
Yeah. Now, what about the plastic spoon? Do you think it will sink or float? Quack, 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 quack. Quack, 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 quack. Well, it's the same shape as the other spoon.
Yeah, and you think it might sink, just like the metal spoon did.
Okay, let's see. It floats.
Aww.
Bummer. Well, that's okay, guys. That's how we learn, right? Yeah, I guess. It's just weird. The other spoon sank.
Okay, you get the idea? How is this different from an English-only English language class? Students learn the concept by seeing things actually sink or float, so they know the concept, sink and float, right? They don't have to go through the Chinese language. They don't have to know how to spell it. They don't have to repeat after the teacher many times to learn the words, because they heard it so many times, right? Yes?
Plenty of opportunities there too for other vocabulary, like imperatives. You had big and kind of the small, bigger, things like that. Those other concepts there.
Right.
Metal,
Right, if they already learned the concept about bigger and smaller, metal and wood, if they haven't, that's okay. They don't have to know every single word
You
in the...
repeat some key words.
Right.
So that when they're watching the video, they can listen to those words.
Right, that's exposure.
Yeah.
When they see it many times, they will know that's wood, that's metal, and they will definitely know sink and float. If your main concept for the lesson is sink and float. And you're also reviewing, like this one, you're reviewing these nouns, right? And so that's a science integration, a very simple lesson on science integration, and it's a meaningful lesson. You are learning the concept, you're learning the language as well. If you decide to teach past tense, you can use sink and floated. But in the video, they just say sinks and floats. You decide. If you're not ready for past tense, just use present tense. But this is also good because it's also called inquiry based. They think about whether it will sink, whether